Good evening and welcome to this December 8th, 2025 meeting of the Bluff Village Board of Trustees. Clerk, please call the roll.
Trustee Fisher?
Here.
Trustee Freed?
Here.
Trustee Ryder?
Here.
And we also have a trustee who is on business right now, and as such, a quorum of the village board is physically present at this meeting. In regards to Trustee Renner, we have on video here, notice was received by him in accordance with village policy. Trustee Renner will be deemed authorized to attend the meeting electronically unless a motion objecting to the trustee's electronic attendance is made, seconded and approved by 2/3 of the members of the village board physically present at the meeting. If no such motion is made, Trustee Renner's request to attend the meeting electronically will be deemed approved. Do I have a motion to?
You need a motion to approve?
No,
No motion.
no,
We have no motion.
no motion. We have no motion. And so Trustee Renner is with us tonight. Thank you, Brian, for being here.
Good evening.
Next is our Pledge of Allegiance. Please stand and join me in reciting the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flags of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I figured.
The award, you have it somewhere?
It's up here.
Okay, all right. And tonight, our first order of meeting is a proclamation declaring December 2025 National Drunk and Drugged Driving Prevention Month. No. We don't have. I guess we will skip that item for tonight. We'll be back on that next meeting. And I'm sorry about that. Next is the consideration of the minutes of the November 24th, 2025 village board meetings. Is there a motion to approve these minutes?
So moved. Second.
Do we have any changes on the board? Any typos, any motions, any issue? It is a voice vote. All in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Anyone opposed? Thank you. The motion carries. Next is our non-agenda items and visitors. The village president and board of trustees allocates 15 minutes for those individuals who would like the opportunity to address the village board of trustees on any matter not listed on the agenda. Each person addressing the village board of trustees is asked to limit their comments to a maximum of 5 minutes. And I do not see anybody willing to make a comment tonight. Do we have anybody online?
Anybody participating in tonight's meeting via Zoom and you want to make a comment on things that are not on tonight's agenda, now is the time to raise your hand and be recognized. No one.
Thank you. Next is we set the order of a meeting, and that will be the village president and board of trustees will entertain requests from anyone present on the order of business to be conducted during the village board meeting. I do understand we have item 21 for a few people being here for that tonight. And what else do we have?
Consent. And then followed by number 19.
That would be item 21. That would be a resolution honoring the public service of Fire Department member Jerry L. Klucha. Is there a motion to approve this resolution?
So moved. Second.
Thank you. And tonight, we are honoring Jerry. I will read a resolution on honoring the public service of Fire Department member Jerry L. Klucha. Whereas Jerry L. Klucha has loyally and faithfully served the Lake Bluff Fire Department and the citizens of Lake Bluff for 40 years. And
Getting going.
only 4 years. And whereas beginning December of 1985, Jerry L. Kluchka has served in a variety of capacities, including firefighter, emergency medical technician, lieutenant, confined space technician, trench rescue technician, and underground rescue technician. And whereas in February of 2006, Jerry L. Kluchka assumed the duties of captain for the Lake Bluff Fire Department. And whereas, through the commitment of Jerry L. Kluchka, the Lake Bluff Fire Department provides services and programs to protect the health, safety, and welfare of the citizens of the village of Lake Bluff. And whereas, Jerry L. Kluchka is a public safety professional who has demonstrated outstanding commitment to the village of Lake Bluff and its residents for 40 years, including participation in several hundred training hours of firefighting, as well as emergency medical technician, confined space, trench, and underground rescue, through which he has maintained a positive attitude and sense of purpose befitting the committed professional, including through confined space. Yeah. Whereas Jerry L. Kluchka has been supported by his family through his 40 years of service to the village by his wife, Becky, and then being joined in this service to the village over the years by his sons, Timothy, Matthew, and Russell. He continues to be one of the finest examples of a committed professional to protect the health, safety, and welfare of the citizens of the village of Lake Bluff. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the President and Board of Trustees of the village of Lake Bluff, County of Lake, and State of Illinois that the village of Lake Bluff hereby recognizes Jerry L. Kluchka for his numerous significant and outstanding contribution to the Lake Bluff Fire Department since 1985, and such recognition and the gratitude of the village of Lake Bluff be publicly expressed to Jerry L. Kluchka for his service to the community, and that this resolution be spread upon the minutes of this proceeding, and that an executive copy of a resolution be delivered to Jerry L. Kluchka.
Thank you, Kevin.
I'd like to say is, when I read that, I'm like, no, that's not what Jerry does together. I was part of a Boy Scout, and my activity was to get the trailer many times, and it was in your place. And I know that you have done so much more to the city than what is right here. So I thank you for what you have done. Your face was very much,
Very welcome.
your face is everywhere in this village, and you have left such a legacy in this village that 40 years does not account for everything you have done. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Oh, just a certificate. Yeah.
Your free work,
Oh, I guess. It's been great. It really has. All these guys, they're so good to work with. And my three boys that are here tonight, started off here and have become professional firefighters at Lake Forest and in North Chicago. And married, got beautiful little granddaughter back there. But it's been a lot of work, but it's been easy to do because it's such a great group of guys, you know. We have a village board that really supports us very well, which we all have to thank for that, because without you guys, we wouldn't be able to function the way we do. And we have good other officers. Greg is our new chief, and I know retired Chief Graff is here. Spent a lot of years with Dave doing things with this fire department. And it's just really been good. It's evolved so far from, I was talking at the station a little while ago, when I started, first rigs that we broke in on, it's a 1954 Seagrave open cab fire truck, which we had for a few years into my career. And now we've got some of the finest equipment around, which the job demands nowadays. Our job has gone from a lot of firefighting back in the day. We've had some big fires to a lot of medical stuff. The majority of our work has become EMS, and that's evolved into our guys being paramedics on staff now versus basic EMTs. So I can be very proud of them for their accomplishments and what they do to help this village. But I can't thank my wife enough. She's put up with a lot of stuff. She's a little bit of a force to be reckoned with, as you guys know. But she cares. She cares about the town as I do. Lived here almost my whole life, seen the town change a lot, and it keeps rolling along, and it's a great place still. So thank you all very much, and I'll stick around as long as I can keep helping out. And I'm not running into burning buildings like I used to, but I'll be there to support and help the guys and help training and do what I can to keep things rolling along. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah. It is a voice vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed?
Not
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, let's do that. Yeah, no, not 19, 18.
Yeah.
This is that one, right?
19.
19. Without objection, board, I would like to take next item number 19, as opposed to taking consent first.
Yes.
Moving forward with 19, item 19. 19 is a resolution approving sign exemption requests and design review for Ziegler Auto Group at 990 West North Shore Drive. And that would be, could I please have this is a motion to approve this resolution.
So moved.
Thank you. Ziegler Auto Group purchased Lake Forest sports car earlier this year. They're adding a Pagani dealership into the building while maintaining the existing Ferrari dealership. Proposed changes include replacing the existing west portico on the Waukegan side of the building with a small addition including a new west entrance. The existing parking lot would be extended north. One new wall sign would be added above the new entrance, and a new monument sign is proposed north of the existing sign on Waukegan Road. The new wall sign and new monument sign each comply with the allowable size for their sign type. However, sign code exemptions are required because the site is currently at the limit of 2 for monument signs and above a limit of 2 for wall signs. Existing signs will remain unchanged. The extension of the parking lot northward is for additional visitor parking, while which is allowed within the 100 feet front yard setback without a landscape screening requirement. Being a hedge is only required for employee parking. This item was reviewed by the Architectural Board of Review at their meeting on December 2nd. The ABR voted 5-0 to recommend that the village board approve the design review and the sign code exemption. And I believe we have
Yep.
your
Project architect Diana Malcar.
Thank you.
Well, thank you. Good evening, board members. I'm Diana Malakar, Malakar Architects. You've already summarized, but I'll show you some images here so that way people have a better understanding of what we have here. So also with me tonight are Nick, John, and Mike of Ferrari of Lake Forest. As we mentioned, Ziegler Auto Group acquired Ferrari Lake Forest in May of this year. And all three of these fine gentlemen are involved in day-to-day operations of their Lake Bluff facility. If we go to the next image. Last week, the Architectural Board of Review unanimously approved our requested board building modifications to the existing Ferrari Lake Forest dealership as Ziegler Auto Group introduces the new Pagani ultra-luxury auto brand to their facility. Now I'm going to give you a brief abbreviated presentation for your information. This is an image of the existing site plan. On the left is Waukegan Road and on the bottom is North Shore Drive. The building is U-shaped. We are indicating our proposed renovation area in green. This green colored area was originally office space for the once upon a time manufacturer at this location. Ziegler Auto Group will renovate a portion of it for a new Pagani showroom and the rest of the area for employee support spaces. We go to the next image. This is an enlarged floor plan of the area to be renovated and updated. Again, it is highlighted in green and Waukegan Road is on the left. To the right is a portion of the existing Ferrari Lake Forest showroom. The rest of it can't fit on the page. The entire existing showroom and automobile service facility to the right will remain as is. Highlighted in red is an existing covered portico and small vestibule bump out facing Waukegan Road. The portico and bump out were designed for the office entry and don't support Pagani's needs. We want to remove these outdated and constricting building elements. We go to the next image. Thanks, Drew. This is a photo of the existing building's western facade. Notice the columned entry portico and narrow bump out with its residential style front doors that we'd like to remove. Next, please. This is a rendering of the proposed western facade. The central sliding glass doors allow for Pagani cars and clients to enter the showroom. Changes to the building facade are in keeping with the original building and building scale, massing, materials, and colors, providing an elegant entry that complements the building. Pagani's understated signage with backlit lighting is located above the front entrance. That's that sort of oval there. Go to the next one, please. This is in the foreground in this rendering, looking from Waukegan Road, is the existing Ferrari brand totem sign on the right and the proposed Ziegler Auto Group ground sign on the left. The ground sign has a brick and limestone base, a metal face, and backlit letters. Because this auto dealership facility is an adaptive reuse of a manufacturing facility, it doesn't look like your typical car dealership with large expanses of glass along the highway. Instead, the building is mostly masonry with smaller windows facing Waukegan Road. Building and ground signage is imperative for identifying this building as an auto dealership with luxury sports cars brands inside, rather than the building's original use. Now that Ferrari Lake Forest has been incorporated into the Ziegler Auto Group, it's important to readily identify this facility as such, so clients who are searching for the Ziegler name along Waukegan Road can easily find it as they travel at high speeds along the highway. Note that the two signs complement one another as the Ferrari totem is vertical in its orientation and the Ziegler sign is horizontal. There is not repetition of two horizontal ground signs. Next, and this is the last one. Lastly, Ziegler Auto Group is requesting 9 additional parking spaces near the new Pagani entry. This site plan indicates the area of the additional parking in blue. The existing black iron fence will be extended to incorporate the added parking area. In general, this parking area will be empty. However, at occasional after-hours events, it will help to have the added pavement for valet parking and additional vehicular turnaround space. This concludes our presentation. No additional changes will be made to support the new Pagani showroom, and thank you for your consideration.
Thank you. Any question from the board?
This had unanimous support from the architecture board.
Maybe art, yep.
I'm glad to
Yes.
take their.
Questions?
Yes, Brian?
Does the extended parking lot have any additional lighting?
Not at this time, no.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Any more questions? Darren, Shayna?
I have no questions.
Nope. It is a roll call vote. Oh, of course. Sorry, do we have any questions from public? Any questions online? No, sir. Thank you. With no more questions, it is a roll call vote. The clerk, please call the roll.
Trustee Fisher,
Aye.
trustee Fried,
Aye.
trustee Renner,
Aye.
trustee Ryder.
Aye.
Thank you. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good luck. Next on our agenda is the consent agenda. And the consent agenda would be for item 11, acceptance of a correspondence, that is correspondence that was delivered to the village board in the informational report on November 26 and December 5, and item 12, a second reading of an ordinance adopting civil immigration enforcement regulations and amending Title 7 of the Lake Bluff Municipal Code regarding the use of village property for civil immigration enforcement purposes. Is there a request to remove any of these items from the consent agenda?
What numbers were they again on the? consent
11 and
agenda?
12.
I guess I would propose to have 12 taken off the consent agenda.
Is there a second to this motion?
I'll second it.
It doesn't require a motion to take something off the consent, just a request removes it from the consent.
Okay.
agenda.
Okay.
All right, so we have a request to remove item 12. Let's get the motion finished for item 11 for the consent, and we'll address item 12.
Now it's just a motion to accept the correspondence.
So just the correspondence.
I will move that we accept the correspondence as part of the consent agenda, item number 11.
Thank you.
Second.
It is a roll call vote, correct?
Voice vote.
It's a voice vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Thank you. And moving on to item 12. That is, again, the second reading of an ordinance adopting civil immigration enforcement regulation and amending Title 7 of Lake Bluff Municipal Code regarding the use of village property for civil immigration enforcement purposes. Could I please have a motion on this item?
So moved. Seconded.
Thank you. As its October 27, 2025 meeting, the village board began discussing potential actions to educate and/or show support for the Lake Bluff community as DHS ICE carries out immigration enforcement activities. This discussion continued at its November 10, 2025 Committee of the Whole meeting, where Village Attorney Peter Friedman summarized local government responses to Operation Midway Blitz and outlined the village limited authority to regulate immigration enforcement. A draft ordinance was also presented at that meeting and has since been revised to reflect the policy objective identified by the board. The updated draft ordinance includes a number one, community value statements and recitals as language affirming the village commitment to fostering a community where all persons, citizens, documented immigrants, and undocumented individuals alike are treated with respect and dignity, consistent with village public policy and a foundational principle of the United States. Number two, a guidance for law enforcement and village staff. As a clear direction that village law enforcement officials may not enforce federal civil immigration laws and are generally prohibited from taking certain actions that would assist in such enforcement. Additionally, all village staff will be subject to comply with the Illinois Trust Act. And number three, a restriction on use of village property and resources as regulation limiting the use of village-owned facilities, land, equipment, and resources for civil immigration enforcement activities, along with authorization to post appropriate signage at village properties. And last, number four, support for private property owners as, by direction of a village administrator, to make free signage language available to private property owners who wish to restrict immigration enforcement activity on their property. At its November 24, 2025 meeting, the village board voted unanimously to approve the amended draft ordinance to clarify that only signage language would be provided as opposed to sign. Comment on the board.
With these amendments, believe that we are identifying two very important issues at the very least. One of which is that we're making clear that village staff are expected to comply with the Illinois Trust Act. That's not part of the Trust Act. As I understand it, it's within our scope to determine whether or not the village staff needs to comply. And so that is one important feature of this ordinance. One reason I support it. The second is use of the village property for civil enforcement. We obviously are not doing anything with regard to criminal enforcement. We will comply, of course, with criminal warrants, but we are limiting the use of village property. And we're doing so consistent with our role as the trustees responsible for village property. So those are the two issues. And then the relatively small issue of providing signage to those property owners who are interested, not signage, language that they can adopt without needing to undergo their own exhaustive research as to what they might or might not say. So those first two, I think, are very important, as is the recitals as to the need to respect everyone. But those first two, I think, are solidly within our purview. And the third is a service to the community, which we will provide and often do in other circumstances. And for that reason, I'm in support of this ordinance.
Thank you, Suzanne.
Yeah, I want to thank Susan for suggesting or requesting that we take the item off the consent agenda for this exact reason. We've received a couple more, not a lot, just a handful of emails that I encourage anyone with concerns to read the specific language. I can understand why the title itself can suggest that this is a controversial or divisive piece of, I want to say legislation, which it's not, ordinance. What it actually is improving the safety and clarity for our hardworking, many of whom were just in this room, public servants, making it clear for our community what can and cannot be done according to law, and making our community feel safe. And most importantly, I think the concept of the language, which we discussed at length at our last meeting, being consistent and actually enforceable, will eliminate a large amount of effort and work for our police force, who may or may not have to respond to calls if the language is actually not enforceable or appropriate. So I'm, again, very pleased that we have this before the board today. And again, I'm grateful that community members are engaging with us to ask the right questions, to get the answers to their questions. I have a great deal of respect for the community members who've reached out with their concerns and questions. And I hope that this discussion and the actual language in the ordinance helps clarify why this is such an important piece, such an important ordinance.
Thank
And
you.
I obviously am in support of it and will be voting in favor of it today.
Thank you, Taryn. Shayna or Brian?
I appreciate the comments from trustee Ryder and trustee Fisher, and I'm in full agreement.
Thank you. Brian, do you want to make a comment?
Yes, I appreciate the revisions. I think that this is a well thought out protection for not only residents of Lake Bluff, but for visitors and workers in the area. And I think it is simply, as mentioned, an extension of the state law to our local village staff and village property. So I'm in support of it.
Thank you, Brian. One thing I'd like to add also is I was not present on the last meeting, and I would like to thank Suzanne for leading the meeting on that day, and you did a fine job. Thank you very much. I did watch the video. I'm fully aware of what was done on that day, including language and not signs, and compliant with current regulations. So I'm appreciative of the work that was done there. So thank you very much. With no more comments on the board, I would invite members of the public to come and make a comment as you wish.
Just one other comment as you come up, just one brief comment. Thank you for having it in the weekly newsletter in a clear manner. I thought the summary was perfect. The link was perfect. A little bit more detail than we usually have, but the right amount of detail for this important issue. So thank you, Mr. White, for your suggestion. And I do think that was a helpful way to communicate to the community. So
Thank you, Suzanne.
please.
John, come on. Please, please tell your name and your address.
Sure. And this commentary is rehearsed with 3 minutes or less planned, so you know. Before you start, let me just take a few breaths so I can catch my breath. My blood pressure's going up. My name is John Zavitz. I live at 118 West Witchwood Lane, as I have with my wife Diane for 34 plus years. I stand in opposition of the proposed immigration ordinance. As you know, I've submitted two detailed emails outlining a proposed alternative solution. I encourage your acceptance of my proposal. If not, I would ask the board to postpone this action with prejudice and seek full community guidance. In preparation for my proposal in this commentary, I reviewed the last 3 months of board testimony. I didn't review the historical or the police or the pension, but I reviewed all the rest. I thought the videos included a host of personal commentary and aspirational comments for this ordinance. My conclusion, based upon the trustees' comments and the political climate nationally, is that the proposed ordinance sends a political statement. Point of fact, the village and its complete compliance with the village is today in complete compliance with the Illinois Trust Act. We assist immigration actions when the federal government issues federal warrants for arrest, and we turn our heads and take no action on all other federal administrative court warrants. Fast forward to tonight. The village intends to exceed state law in spite of the fact that we are 100% compliant. The village has drafted the proposed ordinance that restricts any Village of Lake Bluff facilities, property, and personnel from all civil immigration actions. And to hammer home that point, the village also will provide residents with my term, stay off our property verbiage. It looks so innocent, but this ordinance codifies complete village resistance to the federal government. We are already 100% Illinois Trust Act compliant. Furthermore, there have been 0 instances of federal immigration insurgencies in our village. Are we proposing a solution that's looking for a problem? I believe so, and I'm asking you to vote no. And I would say that a simple administrative memorandum can do the same thing and accomplish the same act by this board and you, village administrator. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Isn't it great living in the US?
Thank you, John. Any more resident willing to make a statement? Please go ahead.
Hello. Good evening, trustees. My name is Claire Dietz. I am the Democracy and Action Coordinator with Mano a Mano Family Resource Center. If you don't know, Mano a Mano is a nonprofit immigrant family resource center located in Lake County, and we serve residents all over the county. As you can imagine, we are pretty close and personal in all of the immigration enforcement activities that are going on in the county. And it would be a large understatement to say that these enforcement activities are harming the community. It is terrorizing people. Since these agents have arrived, community members have been kidnapped off the street without a warrant, with no warning, and no way to inform their family members of what has happened. Many times, Mano a Mano has been the first line of contact for families to help find a way out why their husband, their sister, or their cousin never returned from work or their grocery run. Cars are abandoned in parking lots, bikes outside of restaurants, and children in schools. In some cases, parents are yanked out of their cars and minors are left alone with the car still running. Well, volunteers and rapid response teams and organizations like Mano a Mano do their best to get those children home, support families in finding where their loved ones are, and helping them make ends meet when they have lost the person earning income in their households. Nothing we do can ever undo the harm of that moment, of this person being taken out of their lives. In one notable instance in North Chicago, a man stepped outside to help a neighbor plant a tree, only for immigration enforcement agents to jump at him. Home security cameras showed the man chased through backyards until he disappeared from view. The family called us after hours later to say that they had had no word from him. We had to inform the family that given the hours difference, the man has been kidnapped by federal enforcement agents. The husband, father, who had been in this country for decades with no criminal record. Kidnapped, helping his neighbor plant a tree. In early November, CBP agents paraded through Waukegan playing rock, paper, scissors between kidnapping roofers away from their jobs and terrorizing the College of Lake County into a soft lockdown. All day, residents of Lake County wondered if they would get to return home. And while CBP may have moved on to other states, they will not only be back, but ICE agents are still in the area. On Saturday in Elgin, ICE agents cornered a man on a balcony. When a crowd of rapid response team members and community members concerned about the man on the balcony gathered to support him peacefully, agents threw tear gas and shoved community members out of the way. Eventually, the agents broke into the apartment building, abducted the man, and left behind injured community members and with his family with no word of where he was taken.
Claire?
Yes, am I out of time?
Yeah,
Yeah, can I just say one last sentence?
sure, of course.
Thank you. These agents are terrorizing our communities, and they are creating a war zone-like atmosphere that does harm to our residents and our neighbors and everyone. Thank you for considering this proposal and for the statement it makes about welcoming everyone and to refusal to support efforts that terrorize communities and tear families.
Thank you, Claire.
I know that was a long sentence, sorry.
Can I please ask you what your address is also?
Yes, so do you want Mano a Mano's office or because I'm here on behalf of Mano a Mano or
Yes.
yes?
Yes.
So Mano a Mano has two offices. We have one in Round Lake, that is 6 East Main Street. That's our main office. And then again in North Chicago, it's 1801 Sheridan Road.
Thank you very much.
Does that cover that? Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any more comment from the room tonight? Peter?
To be redundant, Peter White, 400 East Sheridan Place. Jake, I'm glad you're on the line. I left you a voicemail today. Got a couple thank yous to start with. Thank you for keeping the bike path so clear. You're doing a great job and still beating Lake Forest. So I appreciate that.
It's true.
It is. Also, thank you to the board for the prudent and responsible summary that they put out on the immigration enforcement in Lake Bluff. I appreciate it. And as Trustee Ryder pointed out, I think it stimulated some good community conversation. You will recollect that there was significant resistance to that suggestion, but in the end, I think it was the right thing to do for the community. Drew, just a couple suggestions on the Lake Bluff newsletter. Just to consider maybe putting the business at the top of the village business at the top so we can get to it quickly, because that's what is important to us, probably the most important thing to us. And then would it be possible to send it out on Thursday? So when people look through their emails on Friday, it's there, they take off for the weekend. I'm not getting it sometimes till Saturday morning, and everybody's working on their personal lives Saturday and Sunday and don't get it till Monday morning. So just something to consider. Turning to the immigration ordinance, to be clear, I've only had discussions with trustees in this room. I have not had any conversations outside this room with trustees or, as I look around, anybody else in this room, and I'd like that noted. I've requested 2 FOIAs, one for the legal costs of the ordinance once the village receives a bill. I did take the liberty of consulting a subject matter expert in this area, and they informed me that the costs of services rendered to the village are not privileged, to the contrary of what some of the village trustees have expressed. Pardon?
Just a
We don't
point of
answer.
fact, but we don't comment. Go ahead.
I'd love to hear it.
The amount is not.
No, we have, you're on the clock, Peter. Can you please continue with your comment?
Yeah, of course.
Thank you.
Yeah, the amount, clearly, the amount is not privileged. Is that correct understanding? Correct. That's my understanding too. And then President Charlot's email to the trustees read at the last board meeting by Drew, as well as a complete change. In the news, Daniel Dorfman on December 2nd published in the Tribune Pioneer Press comment by Chief Szyminski that he's not aware of any immigration enforcement activity in Lake Bluff to date. I don't see the chief here, but we have a deputy chief. Is that still the case? No enforcement in Lake Bluff?
You cannot ask question, Peter. This is a comment. Thank you.
I asked questions before and you answered before. Okay, I'll contact the chief. So to reiterate what I've stated in the past, I'd encourage a simple ordinance that says the Village of Lake Bluff supports its residents and adheres to state and local law. Anything more is aspirational, symbolic, and most likely unenforceable, serving only as a political statement. Therefore, I urge you to have the courage and good sense to vote no on this ordinance and consider the one along the lines I've suggested. And
can I please stop you? Can you please make your last comment? I gave you the same time than Claire, by the way.
yes, of
Thank you.
course. I have one broader comment.
Thank you.
And I'm deeply concerned and beginning to conclude that there's a cabal within this board intent on socially engineering Lake Bluff. This is not what you all were elected to do. So please, let's stop the direction you're taking Lake Bluff. Thank you.
Thank you,
Something
Peter.
funny? Trustee?
Pardon? I'm smiling.
Oh, okay.
Is that
I
offensive to
didn't know
you,
if-
Mr. White?
I didn't know if you were smiling at me, my comment, or your computer.
I'm smiling at your comment.
Okay.
Thank you, Peter. Any more comment in the room for this item? Do we have? What-
I'd have to ask that question. Can I comment again, or is it just once?
What's your discretion?
If you have a comment,
Please.
thank you. Do we have comments online?
Anybody participating in this meeting via Zoom wishes to comment on this item, please raise your hand and be recognized at this time.
Nope. Any more comments with the board before we proceed to a vote?
I would like to just make a comment that none of the lawyers here claimed that that the document, the attorney's fees were privileged. What I believe we commented upon is that we don't break them down issue by issue by issue, nor would we for a FOIA request, as I understand it. And what I know from my practice as a lawyer, sometimes the language used to describe the work itself must be redacted to avoid waiving the privilege. No one said the amount of legal fees were privileged.
I'd also like to clarify or just reiterate that I don't recall anyone on this board objecting to clarity on this ordinance being included in the newsletter. That was not part of our discussion.
Thank you. Any more comments from either Brian or Shayna? No? Thank you. Seeing no more comments, this is a vote. This is a roll call.
Roll call.
It's a roll call. Clerk, please call the roll.
Trustee Fried,
Aye.
trustee Renner,
Aye.
trustee Ryder,
Aye.
trustee Fisher.
Aye.
Thank you, and the motion carries. Thank you very much for your comments. Moving forward, and next would be item 4, and that would be, item 7. That would be our village finance report, and item 7A, that is the warrants report for November 25 to December 8, 2025. Could I please motion to approve the warrants report?
So moved.
Seconded.
Thank you. And tonight, the warrants report is for expenditure of village funds for payments of invoices in the amount of $498,046.05 for November 25 to December 8, 2025. And those documents are attached to tonight's report. Any comment on the board?
No comments.
No. One thing I noticed is I look at the ledger every time, and I noticed 2 things. First, that we bought new software, and that looking at the ledger goes a lot faster. It's a lot clearer. I can get to the details a lot better. It's actually organized, and it's actually more readable. So thank you very much, Bettina. Yep. And I mean that. Otherwise, I did not see anything out of line. It's going to be a roll call. Clerk?
Trustee Ryder,
Aye.
trustee Fisher,
Aye.
trustee Fried,
Aye.
and trustee Renner.
Aye.
Thank you very much. Next would be our village administrator's report.
I have 2 informational reports for your consideration and listening pleasure tonight. I'm trying to get to the first one. Get there.
8A.
The village has, we hired Clark to help us run our mosquito abatement program after the Lake Bluff Mosquito Abatement District disbanded. And the board just approved an extension with Clark. And why don't you carry on while I'm getting this ready, please? Thank you.
Well, thank you board for the opportunity to come before you today. and give you an update on the mosquito abatement program. The mosquito abatement program that is in place is an integrated mosquito management program, which primarily controls mosquito in their larval stage. Hop to the next slide. For those of you who don't remember, I'm George Ballas with Clark. I'm an entomologist who oversees the program and oversaw the mosquito abatement district as well. So the mosquito goes through four stages in its life. It includes a egg stage, a larval stage, which is where they feed, a pupa stage, which is sort of like the cocoon for the mosquito, a development stage, and then the flying adults. Female mosquitoes take blood meals so they can continue to lay eggs, and they propagate throughout the summer. Next slide. An overview slide of West Nile virus. Last time I was here, there was a question of what West Nile virus really is, and it's really a mosquito and bird virus. The mosquitoes carry the virus and actually transmit it to the birds, or the birds fly in with the virus. That propagation cycle continues throughout the summer. And what will happen during various summers, it will get much larger, and we will have what are called transmissions to dead-end hosts, which could be humans, horses, dogs, and other such. During this past summer, we saw a large transmission cycle here in Lake County, and we'll continue to go over that in the next couple slides. Mosquito larvae are small little feeders who feed on organic matter. They can feed on anything that's in the water, but that water can be found in gutters, bird baths, catch basins, storm drains, drainage ditches, lakes, all different areas. This is a blow up of those mosquitoes. The mosquito on the bottom feeds on it and has an air tube at the top. Next slide. One of the projects that we have as part of the village program is going out to inspect those sites, and those inspections occur all throughout the summer, starting in May, going all the way through September. We'll actually go out and take water samples to collect mosquito larvae, and if mosquito larvae are found or present, then we do treatments in those areas. You can see a collection being made here, and on the right-hand side, some mosquito larvae in the dip cup that we have. Next slide. We also go out and treat the storm drains. There are almost 2,000 storm drains within the village which hold water during the summer. They are very prolific breeders of the type of mosquito that carries West Nile virus. The village program allows for control on a 30-day process throughout the entire summer. So taking over 120 days, we do treatments. Small little bags of an organic material review institute listed product is dropped into the catch basin. It will last for 30 days. And we'll continue to make those treatments throughout the summer. Next slide. Lake Bluff also has many different types of areas, lakes, ravines, other areas that can hold water, and those are all inspected as part of the program as well. Next slide. There's also a surveillance component as part of the program. We have one trap, which is on the left-hand side there, which is a New Jersey light trap, which collects mosquitoes to determine the density and distribution of mosquitoes, the types of mosquitoes that we have. And as we talked about previously, there are about 50 different types of mosquitoes in Lake County. On the right-hand are pictures of what is called a gravid trap, which collects mosquitoes specifically for West Nile virus. Gravid meaning a female mosquito which has taken a blood meal, which is ready to lay its eggs. We collect them at that stage and are tested in our laboratory. Next slide. The laboratory which we utilize is a biosafety level 3 laboratory. This is a net positive building actually that we have in Roselle, and we're able to actually do those samples there. We also do sampling for the Lake County Health Department at the same lab. Next slide. So different types of mosquito stages are brought into our office. We have adult mosquitoes there at the bottom, and then larval you can see in that little water sample there. So we're looking for the types of mosquitoes that carry the virus. Next slide. So West Nile virus, as we talked about, was a little bit different this year. Usually we see West Nile virus on an annual basis. It's endemic to the area because the mosquitoes and the birds carry it. And this year we had a little bit of an outflow of that, and it led to some different control measures that were taken. So just a little small outline. June 24th was the first West Nile virus sample that was found in Lake County. On July 8th, we found a mosquito sample. These are adult mosquitoes that are collected that came back positive for West Nile virus. After that, we had consecutive weeks of positives that came back throughout July. On July 16th, we had our first human case, which occurred in Lake Forest, which is just south of here. And at that point, we worked with village staff to start identification and education components that we can do on a regular basis to get rid of standing water around the homes. On the week of July 28th, we actually made a recommendation to the board based on the fact, or to staff, based on the fact that we were collecting positive mosquitoes, and on all indices, whether it be vector index or any of the other minimum infection rate or maximum likelihood of estimation virus, all of those were way above the thresholds that we had established previously when this program was put together. So we had some enhanced surveillance that we moved forward with. Next slide. For weeks 31, which is the week of July 27th, all the way through September, we had increased trapping. So what we did was we added additional trap nights to collect mosquitoes and actually added a new trap in a park within the village. So we were actually collecting 4 times during the village, more than we would traditionally, which was just 1 time during the village. And you can see that went through all the way through August, and then we moved to two collections for September. Next. The traps were located in various areas so that we could see virus on a larger scale basis. We were also getting many collections from other areas, including the naval base and through surrounding communities. Next slide. So at that time, that enhanced surveillance allowed us to identify that the virus was at a much higher concentration here within the village. We made a recommendation at that time to authorize an adult mosquito control treatment. At that same time, we also worked with the Lake County Health Department to work with the unincorporated areas, which had previously been incorporated into the Lake Bluff Mosquito Abatement District. There was an agreement between the village and the Lake County Health Department to authorize that treatment there in the middle of August. The treatment was performed overnight using a natural pyrethrin-based product, and again, an Organic Material Review Institute listed product. And then we continued to do larviciding throughout that entire time, moving all the way through. There was no additional need based on the collections that were being made that we would need an additional adult mosquito control treatment. Next slide. So adult mosquito control was performed overnight throughout the village. We worked with staff on any additional considerations that were needed at that time. And we did accommodate a couple shutoffs that were added into the program at that point. Overall, from 2025, we actually added an additional case. So human cases lag in their process. So there's 148 cases within the state of Illinois of West Nile virus, most of those being hospitalization cases. We had 12 human cases in Lake County, as I said, including many of them in the surrounding communities. Based on each human case, which is a neuroinvasive case, traditionally there's about 100 to 155 other cases of West Nile virus. So in Lake County alone, we probably saw somewhere between 1,200 and 1,800 West Nile virus cases. Most of them.
Can I just ask a question? You mean for every one that's detected, there's likely 100 or 150 that are not detected?
They are either, and what they have is they'll have West Nile virus. So sometimes it comes across as a summer flu. Sometimes it could be an extended illness, but not something that would be hospitalized. So all West Nile virus cases are not actually reported. Only cases which are hospitalization cases are reported.
And so what is the treatment for that? What is the...
There isn't a treatment for that. So it's fluids, and generally when you have a neuroinvasive case, it goes into some type of encephalitis or swelling of the brain or spinal tissue. So there's an extended list of medical things that would occur after that, but traditionally it's actually just therapeutic and it's matter. It isn't, as we talked about previously, West Nile virus is not something that comes across as a high mortality rate. Morbidity is actually quite high. So people end up having paralysis, long-term paralysis. They may be in a wheelchair for a long extended period as well. So this program that we have in place, as we've talked about previously, is here as really a safety gate and part of the public health efforts that occur here in the village.
Thank you.
Overall, there were 177 positive West Nile virus samples, and then 15 of them positive within Lake Bluff as well.
We have to just go back on that picture just for a moment.
This is the picture that I always show. It's a picture that was painted in Miami during the Zika outbreak, which occurred in the United States. And we worked on that, and that was a unique perspective given to mosquito control. That was part of the public education program for those who had a lot of spray paint.
But it's appropriate because at-risk communities tend to be the elderly.
Traditional West Nile virus cases occur for those who are, and I would be part of that elderly group, then it's 50 and above now. So it is, when I started, it was a much different process. So those who have more systematic or longer term cases are those who are older than 50, but can occur to anyone all the way down to the very young as well. So we wanted to give this outline to show just a couple different things. Your program is in place, implemented for a larval control program. It's ongoing. It does have the ability to increase in dynamic structure to allow for when West Nile virus came in place. I think the board put that in place, and I thank them for that effort because it allows us to work with staff at various times during the year to discuss the options that are available. And then we were able to move forward in a timely manner, which allowed us to take one civil action, simple action, rather than taking several different adult mosquito control applications, which may be necessary.
I think I asked you this last time. Every time you have joined us, it's been really informative and helpful. So I'm grateful. I think it would be helpful if you reiterated, because when we did do the adult treatment this past summer, there were several concerned community members because we are so proud of our flora and fauna. Can you talk through a little bit about the safety or the risks for wildlife and plants and animals?
So the adult mosquito control treatment is done during the evening hours. So it reduces exposure to humans, just right there to begin with. Adult mosquito control can be performed when humans are out, when we're out on the streets, when we're walking. There are no restrictions for the products that we are using for adult mosquito control. So there's no restrictions to reentry into those areas. The EPA and the Centers for Disease Control have come out with a very broad statement that says that when used properly, it is safe to use adult mosquito control in any community, and it is safe for pets, fauna, and humans. The application rates are very low application rates using a natural pyrethrin, which breaks down very rapidly in the environment. And so we look at this as something that as a step that the village would not take on an ongoing basis, probably for any nuisance types issues, but for a public health issue, as you saw with the levels that we had, this is a prominent step that is actually part of the Centers for Disease Control recommendations for communities when we have elevations like that.
And again, one concern we had was because you do that at nightfall, 7 p.m., hopefully there are less bees and any pollinators. So we hope that stands right and true because we need them.
Well, absolutely. And the applications, there have been some additional testing from USDA for adult mosquito control products, the spray that was done at 50 feet for bees that were still active, and it was not able to kill those pollinators. So it's really a weight distributed insecticide. So it's a lower application rate for a smaller insect, and it's the application to the insects that are in flight during that time. And so pollinators should not be in flight during the overnight applications.
So it's the 1-2 punch of pollinators are way more than mosquitoes and are not typically active in the evening.
Less so. There are some pollinating moths and things of that sort who do fly at night, but they're much heavier, and there's less of those traditional pollinators that you'd be looking at, like monarch butterflies, bees, things of that sort should not be flying at that time as well.
Thank you. Any more questions? Susan?
I do have a question. We had some concerned citizens, and eventually I think you guys moved quickly to allow some amount of exemptions for properties. Let me ask you whether you believe that impacted us at the numbers that we saw. I believe it was under 20 people who asked that their home.
It ended up being less than 30 people. There were some. Did it affect the application?
Yes.
It does affect the application for those residents who are next to those homes. So there is, you have a reduced control level with that. However, adult mosquito control can accommodate shutoffs like we did move forward with. There's
station at 10 o'clock at night.
the timing of those are not necessarily Right. So if in a true public health program, that would not be something that we would recommend because it does affect your residents next door. During the timing of the application that was being made, we weren't able to confirm. There were several people who were calling in on behalf of other people who lived in the neighborhood. So we had to work with staff on many different address issues and things of that sort. So generally, we don't recommend that. It's something that we would probably in the off season again, try and work through, keep those treatments, keep those exemptions that we had in place, and we'll work through those as.
The point when there's so many of those, it's like
Yes.
maybe spraying again. That's
But
that's the
if
rub.
it's the case that our neighbors to the south don't spray at all, but for.
Locally, I mean,
Yeah, so there-
So I'm just saying,
of the spray.
Yeah, reduces the efficacy of the spray and
I understand
certain
that, but-
cul-de-sacs where we didn't spray. If we made collections, we would probably see West Nile virus at a much higher number. Because there was no treatment to those older types of mosquitoes. The idea of adult mosquito control is to reduce older female mosquitoes, which the virus is incubating in them and continues to proliferate. And so when you don't or are not able to kill those mosquitoes then can transmit the virus and continue that cycle. The idea is that we're trying to, just like any other things that are used in public health, you try and get the largest amount, which reduces that virus within the mosquito populations. So that's why the recommendation is traditionally not to have shutoffs, but we did accommodate that in this treatment.
other communities don't spray at all. They rely on their citizens, as I understand it, to decide to spray their own houses, right? At their own houses. So they would have a much more of a patchwork than one where the exemption is to exempt out of it rather than purchase the spray. Am I correct that other North Shore communities don't have a spraying coverage at all?
The community to your south, which would be Lake Forest, does not have an ongoing adult mosquito control treatment. They have in the past done adult mosquito control to utilize or to reduce adult populations. That is not something ongoing. They do recommend that their residents take that because of the larger lot sizes. Those lot sizes in Lake Bluff are smaller in nature, so it doesn't accommodate that as much. And also that when you're using barrier applications, this has been a discussion, barrier applications affect pollinators in much larger numbers. So as a community, to alleviate some of that public health risk, but at the same time, trying to keep pollinators at a level where they would be able to be successful, we utilize adult mosquito control. So yes, if you reduce the amount of space, if there are too many shutoffs within an area, you would alleviate what the public health. So you're not following the science behind what should actually be done. You're doing this on a reaction based on the needs of the community.
That's true.
Yeah.
We often do.
Yeah.
And the needs. of
In
other
every
communities-
public health method, as we all know, in public health, there are many things that are put forward and there are responses made to those efforts, whether you believe in vaccines or not vaccines, whether you believe in, there's many different things, and that is the same science that is utilized in mosquito control.
Yeah. Well, we're getting some money from Monsanto over the Roundup issue. So, 20 years from now, maybe we'll be having a different conversation. I hope not.
Thank you.
George.
Any more comments on the board? Shayna, Taryn, and Brian? No, I did not see
No, thank you.
comments. Thank you.
I appreciate your time this evening.
Thank you so much.
Part two.
Hey, Jeff. How are you?
Good.
I did a lousy job of introducing the prior speaker, so everybody knows Village Chair Jeff
Who is this?
Jeff Hansen. Yeah, for apologies to George. I think everybody knows George has been working in and around the village for a really long time. Any more troubles chewing gum at the same time? Here we go. All right. All right, I asked Jeff, interestingly, this year, there's really not a stoppage to any great degree in our capital program. Usually there is. That's not true this year. We remain very, very busy. And I wanted Jeff to give everybody an update on where we are now that we're halfway through this year's budget.
Yeah, I don't agree with that, Drew. I've never had a stoppage. But that's all right. And I feel like I've been up here.
There's a seasonal slowdown.
Yes, we have two big projects. I've been up here, I think, almost all summer long and fall talking about with all the resolutions and things, but we're just gonna kind of go through everything that has been budgeted for capital and give a complete review of what's going on. Fiscal year started May 1 with the street resurfacing project. We had them do a large section of the Public Works lot where the public, generally that area where all the refuse is, and public access spot that was replaced. The miscellaneous concrete, most people think of that just as a sidewalk program, but there's some other concrete in that too. That was just done a couple weeks ago. We also saw IDOT resurfacing Shared Road pretty much from May to October. We did have a part in that. They did the shoulder pathway on the north side of East Sheridan Road between Moffett and Oak Terrace. We're paying for that part. Yes, a great amount of resident input. So that all went pretty well. I think they did a nice job. It was not often we compliment IDOT, but they put together a nice project and it looks very good. So
I would like to thank you also for the amount of interaction you had with Kathy, and I don't remember the three or four, and you did a great job at informing and working with and correcting the contractor in this case. So you guys are not two specs and fitting the wish of the community around that space. So thank you very much.
You're welcome. Looks good out there. Hopefully it holds the way it looks for a few years yet. Those projects are all complete. The pavement maintenance, in the spring, we're going to spray the Reclamite on some of our roads again, which is an asphalt rejuvenator. It's supposed to make the roads last much longer. And then still looking at the handrails and the underpass, which have deteriorated the birds over the years. There's a couple sections there to replace. These projects, we're just finishing the engineering on many of them. So the Green Bay Road reconstruction is going to be in the January letting from IDOT for construction starting in April. And again, that's from the intersection of 176 in Green Bay to West Witchwood. We are working on the engineering for the other section, which is everything south of West Witchwood, including the bridge for 2027. So we'll have 2 straight years with a break in the winter of Green Bay Road construction. The Central Business District Block 1 and the Dancer statue over by the train station, that is going out to bids. We have to make a decision, probably be in January, just because people don't generally do bids in December. But those plans, we just reviewed their final. We gave them a few comments, so those are just about done. The Green Bay Road pedestrian bridge in North Chicago, that's a couple of years away. There's some early railroad coordination going on with that and some engineering with the grants we've gotten from Senator Morrison and ITEP. That'll probably happen in 2028. The biggest project obviously is the storm going Lillian Dell right now. So that is going well. They are on schedule to get up to the intersection of East North by about Christmas time. There's a resolution later tonight that they were willing to push their schedule up from October to July. They would like to close that intersection of East North and Maple to help make that happen. So we'll talk about that in a little bit, but that everybody seems on board with that. And then that would move the schedule up to by the 4th of July, they'll be substantially complete. So there'll be some bigger construction at that intersection in January. They have to dig a very deep hole for a water quality structure and some other water main work. But that is coming. It's going along very well. DeMayo, I think, has done a nice job. It's always gonna be muddy working this time of year. So I drove through not the cleanest site, but that's the way it is.
And so from a construction standpoint, you're talking about January being a construction month. You will be able to proceed with a large building, a large dig on Maple?
Yeah, they can dig through the frost. Generally the frost goes down 3-4 feet. And once they get below that, one of their holes is going to be almost 30 feet deep. So that they'll be well below that, and they stop and they move snow when they have to move snow. But their intent is to keep working continuously throughout the winter as long as the weather allows them to.
Cool. Thank you.
I would say relative to this project, we tried to over communicate that this project was going to be very disruptive. And we sent multiple letters and create an email list, and people were slow to get on board with that. And then most recently we finally said, hey, this is a big deal. It's like, you guys are like, really, this is a big deal. And so, they know what's happening now. And again, when we went around and socialized the idea of getting this done sooner, everybody was, let's make that happen.
Yeah, we get to January, you're gonna see where they're digging. So that will be another shock, I think, to some of the people to see just the size of the holes. All you see now is equipment, materials and moving stuff back and forth, but they're gonna be out on east-north here pretty quickly. But even though they're still getting started, you would think we are trying to work on the next phases. So we're gonna get to Moffett with this phase, but we still have to get, from Moffett to Sheridan Road and then through the underpass. So we have a call tomorrow with our consultants to kind of talk about, we are going to have another design contract just to keep that engineering moving. Our hand is always out with the state and any other source of funds. So we want to be ready when those funds are ready. So we'd like to keep the engineering going while we're doing the construction on the first phase. The other part of that call tomorrow is the Evanston Avenue. There's a low spot in the road between Blodgett and Woodland that floods and people have had property damage. And we are trying to find a good solution to try to lessen that amount of flooding in the meantime. When we get the big pipe all the way up, that will help, but that could be several years away. So we're looking for solutions to help them now. Bluff Road ravine engineering has started. That is between Bluff and Birch. There's an eroding section of that ravine, looking at a project next fiscal year. And the Birch Road culvert actually is just about 95% done. There's a guardrail to be done in that section just south of Blodgett Avenue, but that project went pretty quickly as well. So that looks pretty good and is almost done. And then the water tower painting, we're looking at this spring. I have to coordinate again with Lake Forest. They were going to do their tower this fall. They had a catastrophic water main break and they had to shelve that plan for this fall and go to the spring. And that's going to be 3 weeks or so of their tower shut down, them using our water. And then hopefully that will go right into our tower being shut down using their water. So that's going to get bid over the winter. We did some sanitary sewer televising in November and we have some lines that need to be fixed. So there will be a lining contract this winter. And those are our projects for this fiscal year.
And this is big, and we thank you.
You're welcome.
Any questions on the board, Jeff?
Thanks, Jeff.
It's a big deal. It's the biggest session of construction we have ever done in Lake Bluff. So we are attached to making this community better for our residents. And what we're doing is doing roads better, but also getting our houses to be less prone to flooding. So it's awesome. So thank you very
We
much.
start Green Bay Road in April. We have both big projects going on. That will be a crazy month or two.
Yep. Thank you.
The tar and feather versions of Jeff and Drew are going on sale very soon.
Uh-oh.
Still a great time to pick that up for the holidays if you're looking for a gift. That's all the information I have to share tonight. Happy to answer any questions if there are. That's all I have.
Thank you very much. Next is our village attorney's report.
No report tonight.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Peter. Next is my report. I would like to say that the Lake Bluff spirit was alive and well this weekend. This weekend, I would say that we had, in reverse order, we had first the Lake Bluff History Museum holiday home tour on Sunday from 11 to 4:30 p.m. I texted to Kathy, and Kathy O'Hara at the History Museum, previous village president, and she said 820 people signed up for this tour.
Yeah.
It's big. It's very big, and it shows community spirit, and it shows we are a community, and we are all together. It's a smashing success. Next, we also had It's a Wonderful Life in Lake Bluff on Saturday from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. I would like to say that Kiwani breakfasts were had. Festive fun at the Lake Bluff Library winter open house was had as well. We had a holiday artisan and craft market on Scranton Avenue. We had reindeers to be petted, or maybe not. We had a carriage moving across the street, and eventually we had blue and green orbs that were lit, and followed by Christmas songs and brass ensembles of various provenances. And so I would like to say this is the start of our holiday season. And so to such, I would like to thank again our partners, the people who made this regalia possible, and that would be the Lake Forest Bank and Trust, the Lake Forest Lake Bluff Chamber of Commerce, Annie Royster Lansky for the chocolate, the hot cocoa on the green, the Lake Bluff History Museum, of course, the Village of Lake Bluff, thank you, Drew and staff, the Lake Bluff Library, and of course, Joanna Rolek, and the rest of the team at the Lake Bluff Chamber of Commerce, and Joanna for me realizing that when we try to put lights, there is no light, and if I have something in front of me to read, that doesn't work out. So Joanna was right next to me with a light trying for me to survive the event and losing my voice eventually. And so we got that done. It was fun. And we also had musical performers, and that would be the Lake Forest Civic Orchestra Brass Ensemble with mixed with the Lake Forest High School Holiday Brass Ensemble. And we had the Lake Forest High School Madrigal Singers who sang Christmas songs. It was pretty. And that was fun. And Drew would actually call that Whoville because it was the atmosphere. I love
There's
it.
actually video frontage of it.
Oh, good.
Of Whoville or of,
Is that us?
Wow. Right here.
Huh.
there I am.
How it all worked out.
The spirit is grand. I love it. And I would like to say that we also had on Saturday morning the Lake Bluff Mary Mile, where people around North Avenue, Washington, Evanston Avenue were all gathered to actually walk around a mile with kids and celebrations. So it's Lake Bluff. I love it. That's it. That would be my report. Without any questions, I will continue, and that would be item 13, a continuation of a public hearing regarding year 2025 property tax levy. And for that, the Village of Lake Bluff, in keeping with past practice, will conduct a public hearing on the proposed year 2025 property tax levy. As part of a hearing, Finance Director Bettina O'Connell will present information on the Finance Committee's tax levy recommendation. The hearing notice was published in the Lake County News Sun on November 14, 2025, and on the Village website on November 19, 2025. We will have also two subsequent agenda items for the proposed tax levy information and ordinance.
Yeah, there's not a presentation, no reason to go through it again. If there's any questions, Bettina or I are happy to answer. There are. Otherwise, you can close the public hearing.
Otherwise, I will close the public hearing. Any questions from board or the room? And I see no questions. Do we have anything online?
Anybody participating in Zoom tonight, which is to be heard during the public hearing of the tax levy for 2025? Now it's the time to raise your hand to be heard. No one.
And as such, I declare this public hearing to be closed. So thank you very much. Next item would be item 14, a second hearing of an ordinance levying property taxes for fiscal year beginning May 1st, 2025 and ending April 30, 2026 for Village of Lake Bluff, Lake County, Illinois. Is there a motion to approve this ordinance?
So moved.
Seconded.
Thank you. Pursuant to state law, on or before the last Tuesday in December, the village must file with the county clerk an ordinance requesting a property tax to be levied on all taxable property within the village. After review of levy estimates and financial projections at their October 27th meeting, the Finance Committee reviewed the 2025 property tax levy projections and reached consensus on an aggregate levy estimate totaling $5,505,009, which included the village share of a property tax levy of $4,183,457 and the library share of $1,321,552. On November 4th, 2025, the Lake Bluff Public Library Board provided their request totaling $1,321,552 for their property tax levy. Their request, including an additional $114,655, increasing the total aggregate property tax levy to $5,505,009. The village combined estimate tax extension of $5,505,009 represents a 4.72% increase over the previous year. As a home rule unit of government, the village is not bound by the property tax extension limitation law, PTEL, which restricts levy increases to the lesser of 5% or the consumer price index. However, in January 2005, a village board voluntarily adopted resolution number 2005-6, pledging to follow PTEL guidelines for the non-library portion of the property tax levy. The estimated village portion of the levy remains within the limits permitted under the Property Tax Limitation Act and the adopted ordinance of 2005. As it's on November 24, 2025, the village board unanimously approved first reading of this ordinance. Questions on the board? Any statement you want to make, Bettina? Brian, any questions?
No.
Thank you. I do not see questions.
Nobody's raising their hand.
It is a roll call vote. Clerk?
Trustee Fisher.
Aye.
Trustee Fried.
Aye.
Trustee Renner.
Aye.
Trustee Ryder.
Aye.
Thank you very much. Next is item 15, an ordinance abating 2025 property taxes levied for general obligations debt series 2019 of the village of Lake Bluff, Lake County, Illinois, as a first reading. Is there a motion for this item, this ordinance?
It's second reading, to be clear. It's a typo. My apologies.
It's a second reading.
Should mean a roll call.
So moved.
Wait, I don't.
Needed a motion.
Yes, it-
Make the motion.
You make the motion. Who is seconding the motion?
Seconded.
Thank you very much. The village currently has refunding bonds, series 2019, general obligation bonds outstanding. Pursuant to Ordinance 2019-18, the county clerk is required to extend the property tax levy in an amount sufficient to pay the interest and principal on the bonds. Fortunately, the Waterworks Fund has adequate funds to transfer to the Water Fund's bonds an interest account for principal and interest payments on the 2019 general obligation bonds, which allows the village to abate the annual property tax levy. Because the bond ordinance directing extension of the annual property tax levy were filed with the county clerk, an ordinance is required to abate, not levy, the property tax for these bonds. At its November 24, 2025 meeting, the village board unanimously approved first reading of this ordinance. Questions to Drew and Bettina, if any, on the board? I do not see questions. Thank you, Brian. It is a,
Roll call.
any questions online?
No questions online.
No questions from the room either. It is a roll call. Clerk, please call the roll.
Trustee Fried. Trustee Renner.
Aye.
Trustee Ryder.
Aye.
Trustee Fisher.
Aye.
Thank you. Thank you, Bettina. Next would be item 16, a resolution approving change order number 1 for the village of Lake Bluff West Scranton Avenue Viaduct Project Phase 1 with DiMeo Brothers Inc. for our deep tunnel project. Is there a motion to approve this resolution?
Moved. Seconded.
Thank you. Following a competitive procurement process, the village entered into a contract on July 14, 2025 with DeMeo Brothers, Inc. of Elk Grove Village, Illinois, in the amount of $3,869,271 for the installation of a storm sewer pipe running from near Lake Michigan in Lilliandale westward along East North Avenue to just past Moffett Road. Shortly after construction began in November, the contractor notified the village contractual project engineer of its interest in closing the East North Avenue Maple Avenue intersection through March 2026. This temporary closure would allow the contractor to accelerate the project schedule, advancing the substantial completion date from October 31, 2026 to July 1st, 2026, approximately 160 days earlier than originally planned. The village staff and the village contractual project engineer have shared the proposed change order and intersection closure plan with numerous nearby residents, all of whom expressed support for expediting the project. Although the village purchasing policy authorizes the village administrator to approve a reduction in the time of completion when there is no change to the contract price, staff believes that, in the interest of transparency and consistency with village policy, which requires village board approval for any change order modifying a contract term related to cost or time, the board should formally consider this amendment. The proposed change is germane to the original contract and the best interest of the village. The village engineer and village administrator recommend that the village board approves the change order. 160 days.
Pretty awesome.
It is.
And like the purchasing manual allows me to make this change, but we talked about it. It's a big project. It's the biggest project the village has ever done.
Yeah.
And so we wanted to daylight this with the hope that it would get covered in the newspaper and it would be a
Yeah.
positive thing. So
Yeah, it's very, very, very cool.
Great news.
Brian,
Great news.
thank you. Any more comments to Drew or Jeff? Thank you. It is a roll call vote. Clerk?
Trustee Renner,
Aye.
trustee Ryder,
Aye.
trustee Fisher,
Aye.
trustee Fried.
Aye.
Thank you. Next is item 17, a resolution approving change order number 1 with Blue Reef LLC for window replacement at Village Hall. Is there a motion to approve this resolution?
So moved.
Seconded.
Thank you. On April 14, 2025, the village board approved Resolution 2025-17, authorizing the village administrator to sign a contract with Blue Reef LLC in an amount not to exceed $200,000 for the replacement of windows and the front door of Village Hall. That contract had a completion date of October 1st, 2025. The contractor has been working on obtaining shop drawings from a window manufacturer, and after a review by the village's consultants, architectural consulting group, having them revised to meet all the contract requirements. The village's purchasing manual requires that contract extension of more than 30 days be approved by the village board. Staff recommends approval of the attached resolution, which authorizes staff to extend the contract deadline up to April 30, 2026, and enables staff to impose conditions and intermediate deadlines as necessary. The cost and other aspects of the contract remains unchanged. Questions to staff on this item? Brian? No?
I just quick curiosity, this is all the windows or some windows?
all windows.
Great.
No more questions on the board. I did not see you guys. NC to make a question on that. It is a roll call vote. Clerk, please call the roll.
Trustee Fisher,
Aye.
Trustee Fried.
Aye.
Trustee Renner.
Aye.
Trustee Ryder.
Aye.
Thank you. Next item is item 18, a resolution approving change order number 1 with Superb Steel and Construction, Inc. for generator replacement at the Public Safety Building.
Yes, very similarly, it's not going to get there on time to meet the specs within the contract, pushing it back to a reasonable date. We think that'll work for us and the contractor. Happy to answer any questions.
One question. Is it a diesel or natural gas generator?
Yeah.
I'll let Mike, the local SME, answer the question.
It's natural gas.
Okay.
Any more questions to Mike or Drew on that? Thank you. So it's a roll call vote. Clerk?
Did you need a motion or?
Do we have a motion?
We do not have a motion or a second yet.
We do not have a motion. Can I please have a motion on item 18? I'm sorry about that.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. It is a roll call vote. Can I please have a vote?
Trustee Fried.
Aye.
Trustee Renner.
Aye.
Trustee Ryder.
Aye.
Trustee Fisher.
Aye.
Thank you very much. Sorry about the lack of motion. We action on item number 19. Next item is item 20. That is a resolution approving a settlement agreement with property owner of 1010 Green Bay Road, resolving outstanding building code violations. Could I please have a motion on this resolution?
So, second.
Thank you. In December 2021, Judge Theodore Podkonyak,
You
And-
had it right the first time. Yeah.
thank you very much. Oh, this is Eastern French. So entered Judge Podkonyak entered a judgment in favor of the Village of Lake Bluff and against the owner of 1010 Green Bay Road, Mr. Trent Weishart, in the amount of $89,400 for building code violations arising from the rehabilitation of his local landmark home. Mr. Weishart has since corrected all outstanding life safety code violations, informed the village that the property is under contract for sale, and requested a reduction of the assessed fines based on various circumstances. The attached settlement agreement outlines the following terms: payment. Number 1, payment. Mr. Weishart will pay $52,750 to resolve the building code violations, parkway restorations, and outstanding permit extension fee. Number 2, village actions. Upon receipt of a required payment and bond, the village will release the lien and declaration on the property and issues a certificate of occupancy. Approval of a resolution will authorize the village administrator to take all necessary actions to implement the village obligations under the settlement agreement. Questions to Drew? Questions to staff on the board? No, I do not see questions. It is a roll call vote. Clerk?
Trustee Fisher.
Aye.
Trustee Fried.
Aye.
Trustee Renner.
Aye.
Trustee Ryder.
Aye.
Thank you so much. Next item is our trustees report. Do any trustee wish to make the report tonight?
I do have one comment.
Yes. Yes, please, Brian.
With the holiday seasons on us, the Public Works recycling area does get rather full at some point. We might want to consider another container for cardboard boxes and maybe another container for household waste.
True.
That's a great observation, Brian.
I will talk to Jake and Groot.
Thank you very much, Brian. Any more?
I have a question, which I could have asked otherwise, but I'll ask in public. What is the status of the discussions with the yacht club, the Lake Bluff Yacht Club, regarding their planned facility? Is that going before the PCZBA next week?
It is as a workshop. They're going to present their concept, and then my counsel to them is once they get that feedback is come back to you all and workshop that before they make an formal application.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks for staying on that. I don't want us to let that drop.
I also keep in touch with members of
Yes.
LBYC because I sell and I'm a member, and I make sure that we are progressing and we are doing true to the community in different ways. Thank you.
I'll make a quick report, actually.
Awesome.
Which is I had the pleasure of attending the Lake Forest High School's holiday concert last night, which starts with the band and symphonic orchestra, heads into an evening of dinner with various choral and musical performances throughout the spaghetti dinner, and then follows up with the choir, the chorus concert. And it was such a lovely night. This is obviously my third year in a row this go around, and 25, 30 years ago, I was doing it when I was an attendee at the high school. And it's just in lockstep with the beauty of our Whoville weekend. It was a lovely cap off of how lucky we are to live in this community that embraces togetherness, celebratory holiday season celebrations, and the music and the arts. So
Very talented kids.
so good.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, three of
Yes,
us
we
were
ran
there.
into each other.
Yeah.
My last kid, it's her last year at the high school, and she was in the choral and specifically the madrigals. And it was also nice that my wife handmade 2 of the madrigals dresses for the kids.
Oh,
Those
wow.
Dresses are phenomenal.
That's awesome. Yep. This is what makes our community special.
It really does.
Yep. Thank you. Any more comments on the board? Nope. Thank you. We have next the consideration of the minutes of the November 24th, 2025 executive session. Is there a motion to approve these minutes, please?
So moved. Second.
Thank you. Are there any questions or any concerns or any changes to these minutes?
No.
Nope. I do not hear anything. Clerk, please call the roll.
Trustee Ryder,
Aye.
trustee Renner,
Aye.
trustee Fried,
Aye.
trustee Fisher.
Aye.
Thank you. The motion carries.
People.
We do not have an executive session tonight, and so I would welcome a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Seconded.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Anyone opposed? Awesome. And we're adjourned. Thank you so much.
year.
Yeah, you did.
Here.
Wow, that was crazy.
Thank you, everyone. Happy holidays.